Writing is the day job and the night job and the dream job. Such a good lesson for me to learn to enhance the overall piece. An experimental thing, and I'm gonna have to scale back my expectations. Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see, huh? A whole 3 days. So in today's video, I've decided that I want to try and live my best work/writing life because I'm a freelance writer and aspiring author. A whole lot of my life is designated to writing and being on the computer and just sitting, to be totally honest. But what I found during Nano is that my schedule got all disrupted doing the daily vlogs and stuff like that, so I wanted to kind of get myself back on track. And I figured the best way to do this was write out my ideal day, how many hours I spend on each activity, and then test out to see how realistic that ideal actually is. It just turned 6 o'clock, and so I'm actually going to go work out at the gym, and then I will start the whole rest of my day. But I do include gym activity time in this ideal work day, so right now I'm on track. My ideal day includes 3 hours of freelance work, 2 hours of first draft work, 2 hours of revision work, 1 hour of additional fun work, more on that later, and 1 hour spent doing authortube, either filming or editing or posting or whatever. All in all, that adds up to about 9 hours of work. Waiting for the car to defrost. Come on! We're getting somewhere. Ice! Ice! So between the time of me waking up at 5:30 to me getting ready for the gym, driving to the gym, getting to the gym, doing gym things, driving back from the gym, and then taking my shower, it is now like 8:30. But this is exactly why I wanted to do this kind of test challenge thing, because I don't think I realized conceptually how much the time actually takes me. And now today there was a slowdown because there was ice all over the car, but honestly that happens all the time. Like there's always little slowdowns in our days. So anyways, yes, that's kind of what I'm trying to measure here. So I'm gonna make coffee and then I'm going to really begin my work day. I'm gonna write down what's actually happened so far this morning so that I can keep track. It is right now 8:32, so I figure 5:30 to 8:30 is okay to say. And now we just gotta figure out what I wanna work on first. Something that's important to note, in my ideal workday that I put on there, I was going to have 2 hours for drafting a new story. It was going to be first draft or zero draft kind of stuff, just to like always be in like a much more romantic way of thinking about it, pumping stuff out, creating content rather than kind of editing and revising content, which is totally important. But anyway, I just wanted to do both. I wanted 2 hours for both of those activities in whichever story, but I don't actually have anything that I am doing zero draft work on. So right now I'm actually going to work on a story that I want to indie publish as part of the college romance series I'm working on, and then I'm also going to work on Project Blue today, which is in draft 4 or 5 at this point. So even though I said this is a redraft, as most of you guys will know, because I do the zero draft process, every single point in the drafting process up until the very end for me is always adding more scenes in, infusing more description, like kind of layering in the world building and even sometimes the character development, even though I think that my characters are usually my strongest point. So when I actually looked at what I have to do today, I'm staring at a blank screen because I'm going to be adding a scene in. So in some ways, I guess this is almost like first draft work, except I have an entire story to go off of and I just know I need to pinpoint stuff in. So, okay, let's get to writing. All right, I have 1,270 words and it is 9:28. And I actually finished that scene, which is awesome. I feel like I'm already off to a good start and I can cross off a full hour of work. The crazy part of this, of course, is that theoretically I still have 8 more to go. The more and more I realize it, and I think that's gonna be more evident throughout the day, that this was just like a little bit ridiculous and I'm gonna have to scale back my expectations, which is just how things go. 32, 9. I did also manage to finish my cappuccino in that time and my chocolate milk, so I'm gonna go and refill this with some black coffee for the next hour of work. Now the problem with revision work for me is that I have to spend a good chunk of my time just rereading parts of it, and that's the kind of thing that when you're comparing like productivity, I can compare word count to like that previous scene, but the actual rereading to get back in the mindset and to like continue on and making sure everything's flowing and like that for some reason is much harder to quantify. For some reason that's obviously harder to quantify, so then it feels like my hour is not as productive when really that's an hour that was well spent. I say that I haven't spent that hour yet, but I am looking at what I have to do and I know that's basically what this hour is going to be. So we'll see if I get anything word count wise done or if it's just going to be kind of finagling and rereading. Who knows? It is currently 10:07 and I'm at 1,299 words in this story for the day, which means I have been revising the whole time and I've only added like 29 words, I think, from 40 minutes ago. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about where I feel like I'm really making progress and kind of reshuffling some scenes and making sure it's cohesive and making sure like the emotional impact is exactly where I need it to be. But is that representative in any part of the amount of words I have written? No, no, no. Oh, I don't usually do this, but I actually set a timer on myself. Actually, I never do this. What am I talking about? I never set a timer on myself when I'm working because I like to let myself be in the zone, but because this really is like an experimental thing, this is just how it's gonna be today. I marked that I did revisions for this last hour, and then I'm actually going to spend the next half hour making myself breakfast because I haven't actually eaten anything good yet today. I just had my chocolate milk and my copious amounts of caffeine. So I'm gonna eat, and then I actually think I'm going to take a half hour while I'm eating because I can kind of multitask that and upload some of these videos so that I can make this video for authortube. So that'll be the next half hour, but I'm not gonna put that down. Yeah, I'm not gonna put that down until it happens. So okay, breakfast. Let's get to it. Man, I feel like I'm on a time crunch, but also feeling extremely productive. This is still the morning time when I am best, so that could be why. I don't know which it is yet. Let's go. It's cream soda, I promise. It is 10:45, so that means I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to take like 15 minutes just to watch some videos while I do it. And then I'm going to take this camera and switch over to this one so that I can upload videos on this guy. Let's do it. Real quick though, that also means that 2 hours of at least one of the draftings is done. So I'm gonna put like a little X next to it. Nothing else is done though, oh my gosh. So I don't know if you can see, up until this point, I've taken 40 videos for this video. I'm also watching Just Between Us. They are amazing. But of those 40, I don't know that I will use all of them in the video. That's always the interesting process behind editing things back, especially vloggy kind of stuff. Download, okay. Woohoo! And now it is 11:16. I've also officially gotten up to the 10 o'clock mark on my editing. You know, that's actually pretty good. I'm almost caught up to what I've done up until this point, which is always nice. And now it's just time to mark through some stuff. 11 to 11:30 authortube, and then I'm going to give myself one little cross through there. And goodbye iMovie. And hello Scrivener. Now normally if I was doing this on a day where I wasn't actually vlogging the experience, I would consider authortube filming, like when I'm sitting down for a 20-minute chat or something. A 20-minute chat that gets edited down to like 8 minutes. I could also count the filming time in there, but because I'm doing this kind of vloggy thing, it's much harder to figure out how much time is spent filming, especially because I'll film while I'm working. I don't know what the quotes were supposed to be there. I film while I'm working, and so that time also can't count because it's fully work time. I just set the camera up. So like this time could theoretically count, but it's just too much of a wash to even bother trying to count it all up. Maybe that's something else that might be useful to do in the future, but Okay, it's officially 11:33. I'm 3 minutes behind. Time to get to work. I should also say that I have switched over to freelance work, which I have been using Scrivener to keep track of different things. So really, Scrivener has been a lifesaver for me. Before I just used a whole bunch of Google Docs, which also totally works just fine, and I still use Google Docs, but everything is in Scrivener for me now. I don't know if you can see how much color there is, but this is how I do something where I add color for different coding systems for what I need to fix and why I need to fix it. Like yellow right now is I need to fill in portions of it, and then orange and red are like little conceptual changes that need to be done to enhance the overall piece. All right, it's now 1:48, but I gotta go and run some errands. I'm actually having to wait a little bit until a delivery is out of the way of our driveway. Our entire street neighborhood is like still under construction. Oh my gosh. I started watching a Hallmark for a bit, and I'm actually gonna I made some gluten-free peanut butter cookies. Isn't he beautiful? He tastes so good too. So I can fill out. I'm going to cross off a I don't think I can do 2/3, but I'll do a line and part of one on that freelance writing 3 hours. So at this point I've done 2 hours of freelance, 2 hours of like rough draft work, and then a half hour of authortube stuff. So I still have another hour of freelance, 2 more hours of revision work, and then another half hour of authortube, and then 1 more hour of additional fun work in order to meet my theoretical ideal writing day. Obviously, I way overshot this, like not just a little bit, but like completely. And the hard part is because it's like writing is the day job and the night job and the dream job and all this stuff, you know, there's not really time when I'm theoretically not writing or working on a story or thinking about a story or doing all of that work that's not quantifiable, but is altogether important still. So ain't no rest for the wicked and ain't no rest for the writer. That's what I'm saying. Nom nom nom. All right, so a couple errands to run. Now I can actually run them on the move we go. Also, one of the errands is obviously the library, because of course it is. This book is a cozy mystery, and I just found out, because y'all know my love of Hallmark knows no bounds. This book was actually made into a Hallmark movies and murders and mysteries. I don't know. One of the like more serious Hallmark ones this entire series. So I'm gonna try and get the first one, and then I'm gonna just watch the series, because I have watched a little bit of it before, and wow, I had no idea. I just accidentally picked it up. What about that? Ugh. Left with 4 books, came back with more books. I have no idea why library hauls aren't as popular. Some of these books I've read before, like the Stephen King one. I can't find my copy, so I'm going to read the library's one. And then Murder on the Orient Express, but I'm going to do a reread since I didn't finish it last time. And then the rest are new ones. And I've never seen Outlander, which I'm very excited for. Oh my gosh. I was running errands for so long, I don't even know what time I left. What time did I leave? 1:30. Oh no. It's almost 4 now. Ah. To be honest though, at this point, I don't really feel like writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to finish up my extra 30 minutes of authortube time, and then I will switch to something else. So how much do I have in total? 1 hour, 3 hours, 4.5 hours of theoretical work left. So let's go ahead and spend this half hour on authortube. So that means I'm going to eat my lunch. I'm going to take like 15 videos while I do it, and then take this camera and switch over to this one. Cameraception. All right, so it's 4:30, and I actually only have, you can kind of see where the yellow markers are. I only have 5 videos left to catch up on, to just kind of put in order and semi-work on ahead of time, so that's pretty good. Then I already marked authortube, so I can go ahead and cross through my hour of authortube for the day. And you know what that means? Only 4 more hours of work at 4:30. This is ridiculous. This is such a good lesson for me to learn though. And like, while the errands were extra this time, and I don't always run errands, and you know, there was ice on the car this morning, like these are just the things that like inevitably something will happen. Oh my gosh, this is such a good lesson to learn. I'm so glad I did this experiment for myself. I don't know if it's gonna help you guys, but oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And so what I think I'd really like to do right now is my remaining hour of freelance work. I think I'd just like to cross something off my list, honestly. And once I'm in the middle of Project Blue, I don't want to have to stop to do freelance. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish that off. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Ugh. I've talked before about rereading stuff out loud, and I do that for everything that I write. Every single thing, which includes freelance work. You just gotta hear how it sounds. It's so important. Only 5:22, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it for today. I'm gonna X out a Scrivener, and I have updated my log. I'm actually super hungry, and I just realized I haven't had anything to eat since I made my breakfast. That was more like lunch, but oh no, I had a peanut butter cookie. That's not anything. I remember I've gotten confused in the past when people talk about being so busy that they don't eat, like they forget to eat. And as someone who has a huge appetite, I'm always like, how? How is that a thing that can possibly happen? But I kind of get it. On days like today and other days when I've genuinely been really busy and not doing an experiment that's making me busy, I have kind of understood. Oh, anyways, yeah, the whole point of that, food. So until 6, I'm going to be eating my turkey chili and watching some fun YouTube. Also, y'all, oh my gosh, 24-hour Disney holiday throwbacks. Ah! And now a slice of coconut cream pie while I'm watching YouTube. Okay, so it's now 6:03 and I want Project Blue. I haven't opened you in so long. Look how beautiful you are. So I feel like it's worth mentioning the update. So that the printed out Project Blue was draft 3, I think. I have now typed up the entirety into Scrivener because before that it was all written in Google Docs. So that was at least like draft 4. But what I'm going to do is that even though I finished that with all of the revisions noted from draft 3, I now have 2 scenes that I'm changing in, I don't want to say their entirety. One of the scenes will be a really easy fix, actually maybe like 200 words subbing in differently, but the other scene is going to require almost a complete rewrite, and that other scene is such a big scene. It's huge. So I'm going to attempt to tackle the first one because it'll be easiest, and I just know I can't get the other scene done all today. Like that just will not happen. It might actually be like a whole week's worth of work because there are stuff like After Effects. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and fix this first scene. So within chapter 5, it is about 538 words. So I was wrong, 538 words need to be rewritten, but because the actual intent is staying more or less the same, or the reason for it happening, or this isn't making any sense. I'm so sorry. I will give more background in another video, I promise, because it's something I definitely want to discuss in more depth. Okay, let's see if I can't fix these. Okay, scene fixed, done. There's obviously, as I reread it, I remember that there's going to be several other small things before that scene, kind of leading up to that scene, that are gonna have to be changed, but it's mostly just like a sentence or paragraph here and there. This is honestly the hardest part about revisions, is realizing when something is not serving the story or something's not helping the story that you ultimately want to tell. It's holding it back, and even though it worked and you liked it in the previous draft, realizing that it needs to change now. Ugh. All right, it is 6:31. I think I started this at 6. What time did I even start this? So 1/4 of my work is done. I should probably turn on a light at this point. All of that means I need to update my log. And I can also do a half an X on the revision work. But now at this point, I only have what? 30, an hour, two and a half hours left? Theoretically doable before bed, but also I'm gonna be going to bed late to do this experiment. Because that's the other important part of like having a routine, is that I wake up at a certain time, and if you wake up at a certain time, you have to go to sleep at a certain time in order to function at the highest potential, right? And especially for creative work, I feel like I need extra sleep when I do something like this, and I'm not getting that. Tomorrow I will wake up at 5:30 again, only I'll be a little bit kinder to myself and not shoot for the frickin' stars. I didn't even know I was shooting for the stars. Oh man, oh man. The question really is now, if I don't want to start that other scene, what should I do in Project Blue? I guess I just have to start that other scene. Like that's what it is, right? It's such a long scene. Oh my gosh. Ugh. And the scene I need to change is 2,925 words. And again, that's just the one scene. There's going to be ramifications from this scene. Okay, so I got from about here to here that I fixed. Big sigh. But what I'm gonna do now actually is it's 7 p.m. It just turned 7. We're about to go watch the Great British Baking Show. I'm ready for a mental break. So this is coming at the perfect time. As things develop later and later, I need more and more breaks. This is the hard part compared to the morning when my brain's just like ready to dump all this creativity I've stored from my sleep. But I'm gonna go ahead and mark through all the way up to X, and then I'll only have 2 hours worth of work left. That is great. Great. And I am once again downloading videos off this camera onto my computer. Also, the battery's blinking at me, so you know, that's good. I'll charge it while I do GBBO. So on your marks, get set, go. All right, it is now 8:40, which is not, you know, that late, but since I need to be up at 5:30 to go and work out, and because I'm recovering from a cold, I'm going to do the adult thing and not spend the extra 2 hours of work that my schedule would require. So I feel like I'm failing the exercise. That's really what's happening here. But again, I'm making the adult decision. I'm also an adult who's made the decision to do a 24-hour write-a-thon, but do the smart thing, do the smart thing. So I will check back in with y'all tomorrow morning, and I will give an analysis and a breakdown of how I think this actual experiment went. But for now, good night. So thoughts on this experiment ultimately. Not only did I not succeed in including all 9 hours of work into my day, but I also didn't even match up my very initial plans for the day. I wrote them down way back when and was like, you know what, if I do it exactly like this, I can fit it in. But the way that I did the experiment now 2 days ago was that the hours that I spent were completely dedicated, not like mindlessly clicking on articles or watching videos outside of those very specific times I allowed it. I wasn't answering emails, I wasn't answering calls, nothing. If that hour was for working on drafting my story, I spent that entire hour with my eyes zeroed in on that story. I think that was one of the reasons that by the end of the day I was so mentally wiped, because I don't think that's usually how my concentration works. But all added up, it was nearly 7 hours of fully productive work. So when I put it in those kind of terms, it makes it not only more realistic, but also I feel better about how I spent my Monday. I do think I'm going to adjust the schedule slightly and have 6 hours of dedicated work. So then the question becomes, what do I want to take away to get from 9 hours to 6 hours? And the other interesting thing to note is that I had an additional fun work creative that was a subsection that I wanted to spend a whole hour on, because I actually want to get better at short stories. I have several just kind of ruminating in my brain. Compared to the priorities of the other activities that I'm doing, it's really not important, but I want to get it done. That's always the thing. If you want to get it done, you have to carve out time for it. So it's becoming like an interesting predicament over how do I set up my day so that I can theoretically get all the stuff I want to get done, and also keeping in mind that I can't be unrealistic about it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to write out my daily schedule with 6 hours of dedicated work and see if I can't make something that I think will be more realistic. Let's do it. So what I came up with is 2 hours of freelance, 1 hour of authortube, 2 hours of revision work, and 1 hour of zero draft work. And again, all of this work would be with an absolute dedicated focus, because of course it could theoretically take longer if I didn't have that dedicated focus. You know how it goes. And then I would get up at 5:30 like usual and work out and be ready to work starting at 8:30. I learned that from my experiment. And then I've managed to fit it all in and then be done theoretically with work by 4, and also included an hour and a half for a midday walk, which is something that I was really bummed about missing. I love having that break in the middle of the day, and usually I like spending that break rather than running errands, going out for a walk. There's something very rejuvenating about walking. I've talked about it so much before, so I'm not gonna go into it all again, but yeah. So I fit into my perfect day, the walk, and I think what I'll do is I'll just try this experiment again for myself, and I'll just let you guys know how it goes now that I think I have the system figured out a little bit better, because of course some days it's much easier to have that very dedicated focus than other days. So what amounts to 2 hours of concrete work in one day is like 4 hours of really toughing it out kind of work. I'm really struggling for it kind of thing. Does that make sense? So this was an absolutely great lesson. Please comment down below and let me know what your ideal work day, writing day situation looks like. If you're going into the office, are you able to add in writing? Because I know when I was going into the office, that was something that was becoming increasingly harder and harder. And take all that away, what is your dream day? Maybe not even a work day, but like how many hours a day would you spend reading? Or how many hours a day would you spend like going on a road trip? That kind of thing. Like if you had 24 hours to do with what you want, what would you do? So many questions. That's totally a different question than what I just asked. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon with the new video. Bye. But now at this point, what? Now I'm just talking for no reason. Okay, you can't see me at all. I honestly forgot I was recording for a full like 2 minutes. So I have 2 minutes of footage of me just staring at the screen and barely changing things here and there. I'm recovering from a cold, so I'm quite nasally today. Don't know what I want to say.